Hey, hello everybody.
Thank you.
Good to hear you, and I'm delighted to be on this occasion, meeting four different universities at the same time. It's an exciting moment for me. I'm very happy that you could organize this. And you mentioned that I come up with ideas which is not kind of in sync with conventional ideas. The reason I do that, I just watch the things happening, and I have my questions in my mind and try to react to those questions. For example, pandemic has raised lots of questions in my mind, and I keep sharing them as it comes. First, the problem of people losing their jobs in a massive way and income in a massive way. A large number of people moving from cities going back home so that there's because there is no food in their places where they used to work and even no income. So that raises the question why people have to go away from their own birthplace to someplace else to make a survival living. I said, how come we cannot create a economic system where people can have their survival income just where they are born? They don't have to travel a distance to make it that happen. And I started thinking about the reason for we created urban economy. Why some places are chosen to become the focal point for economy, and others have to come from distances to join that focal point to make a living for themselves. Young people leaving their villages, young women leaving their villages to cities and making slums and all that. So that's the question. I uh, blamed economic thinking for that. I said they always thought they should be all concentrated in one place. I said no, it can be diversified. There is no reason even today to have that same old thinking, because today the question of transportation is no longer there. The question of roads and highways is still this solved. People, everything is connected in most of the countries around the world, and also telecommunication. Everybody is connected. Internet is everywhere. So that those things, the distances. For example, now I'm talking to you, four different universities, sitting out of my own little room in my home. And I can reach out. Anybody can reach out to anybody. So still to think that city should be the focal point of economy doesn't make sense to me. So I said, village and the people where they are born should become the focal point, their own economy. If you want to improve on whatever survival economy you have, then you can leave for ambitious purposes and so on. So this is one. Another one particularly pained me to see the question of vaccines. Vaccine came and we're excited. Now we can protect the whole world because vaccines are available, and COVID-19 cannot cause death in a massive way because we can protect ourselves with the vaccines. But then we saw that vaccines are all monopolized by few countries. Only 10 countries in the world monopolized all the vaccines in the world, and very little is left to the rest of the world. We need for, except for the 10 countries which monopolize all the vaccines, we need 11 billion dosage of vaccines around the world. Uh, and out of that, 1 billion now dosages contributed by the G7 countries to go into the other countries, except for the 10 countries. And then the COVAX facility, which mobilized funds from rich countries, they can provide nearly about 1 billion. So 2 billion are available, one from G7, one from COVAX. Still 9 billion dosages are missing. Still, because not only people have uh, in 10 countries, they have their vaccines. They're now talking about the third dose. They have their 2 doses. In addition, they want third dose, and they are still holding on to many excess vaccines for themselves. So this is one thing. Another thing I was trying to point out right from the beginning, that vaccines should not have any patent right. Patents should be removed so that this can be produced everywhere in the world, no matter where you are. There is plenty of capacity around the world. If you leave it to the few handful of pharmaceutical companies to produce, they cannot produce enough vaccines. This is what exactly happening. There's no capacity for these companies to produce. So whatever is produced is taken up by the lucky 10 countries. Other countries don't have access to that. I said, why don't you remove that patent right? And still, it's a big struggle, but these people are listening, people are joining in, and lots of countries have already expressed their consent to join that removal of the patent right on the vaccines. But only a country, or one or two or three countries probably, led by Germany, still holding on. They do not want to remove the patent right. It needs unanimous decision for the WTO TRIP Council decision. So even one country says no, it cannot be done. So I'm appealing to people from Germany, people from countries where they are still opposing, 2 or 3 countries, to agree to remove the patent right, and so that it's available to everybody. And we continue to raise that issue. To me, it's like this. We can save all the people in the world by providing them the vaccines. Vaccine is the knowledge which gives us the power to protect ourselves from the vaccines. That knowledge that we can protect ourselves is not made available to everybody. Why? Because this knowledge is surrounded by thick wall of profit. The profit makers have created the big wall so that the knowledge is kept inside of it. This is the wall of the patent right. So others cannot share that profit, share that knowledge. So even knowledge now monopolized, so that people can die any number around the world. They couldn't care less. So this is, I think, I never thought this is the purpose of the economy. This is the purpose of the profit. Profit making cannot be a reason for allowing people to die in a massive number. This is the most disgusting thing human being can do. So this is a revealing of what the ugly things that we do in the name of profit maximization, and supporting it, that this is the right thing to do, and governments to support, public to support. And I cannot absorb that kind of thing. This is a question I raised. And during the pandemic also, we just last month in August, we have the IPCC report, intergovernment panel on climate change. They have been telling us a terrible thing. There's only 20 years left before we get to 1.4 degrees Celsius temperature and beyond. And this is a danger part that we'll be entering in 20 years. This is the red zone of our existence. It's a global warming itself is making us vulnerable to the extent that we can become most endangered species in the world right now because of the global warming. On top of it, the speed at which it's happening is surpassed all our previous thinking and so on. But still, people don't pay any attention to it. Life goes on as if nothing is happening, as if this thing will continue forever and ever. So I keep reminding that we are in a suicidal path. We created this global warming by ourselves, and one of the major cause, the number one cause, is the profit maximization, profit making, because all the businesses contributed to this. Even today, the fossil fuel, which contributes 86% of global warming in terms of fossil fuel contribution, is allowed to continue fossil fuel industry, and even they provide subsidies to fossil fuel industry, and nobody talks about it. Even Paris Agreement didn't have any clause on the fossil fuel control of the fossil fuel reduction, or even close down the fossil fuel completely. So we need to be aware that this is our life and death issue. It's not simple a question of whether a company should continue or not. We should be making tough decisions right now in order for us to survive. And then we see we're kind of in a celebratory mood that everything is working very well. I said, the house is burning, but inside the house, we are having a party. celebrating ourselves, all the successes in economic successes, all the technological successes. I said, what is the success? What does the success means if the house and us doesn't, we do not exist on this planet? And we got so addicted to profit and the money and the glory of the wealth, we forgot everything else. And why this is happening, we don't even question. We can, the fact that we have to change it is something that nobody pays any attention to. So during the pandemic, it becomes extra careful, extra attention that we have to pay, that in order to survive, we have to look at it in a consistent way, so that we can address the question of global warming in an immediate urgency way. And also at the same time, concentration of the wealth. All the wealth of the world is concentrated in fewer and fewer hands. Even during the pandemic, when millions, even billions of people lost their income, lost their food, lost their professions, and the big millions of people pushed down below the poverty line around the world. In the same period, trillions of dollars went to the big few at the top. They earned extra profit, extra wealth in there. So people in the bottom who were 96%, sorry, who were 99% of the population and the income scale, they keep losing wealth. And top people in the sky and the income scale, they are the one who was getting the extra $1 trillion at the same pandemic period. And even the pharmaceutical companies which are producing vaccines, and 9 new billionaires have been produced during 1 year because of the vaccines. One company doubled its stock market price during the pandemic because of the vaccines. So all the wealth going that direction, while people are dying because you don't want to share the knowledge with everybody else. You want to make the profit. So this, to me, looks very ugly things. During the same period, while people are dying, people are talking about the vaccines, people are talking about the social distance and all the precautions, and their economic situation getting worse and worse. But still, rich people are having fun going in the space, our space tourism, spending billions of dollars to promote that kind of technology, to go to, for a few minutes, to go to the space to enjoy themselves. So this is the kind of question of priority, question of understanding, question of fellow feeling of the world in any way. So it brought in a very ugly way that we have done in the world. Then also at the same time, the artificial intelligence keep coming, and it tells very loudly that they will replace a human being on every activity. But we don't pay any attention, as if this will never happen. It's happening already, and the projections are made. How many millions of people will be losing job every year? How many billions will be done within how many years? These projections are already available, but we think, okay, it comes. Who cares? Of course, we care, because if you want to care that people will be out of job, every kind of profession will be out of job, not just one kind of profession. So if all people are out of jobs, out of activity, what does it mean? Is it a question of losing their income? Even the smart people recommending universal basic income, give them some income, forget it, we move on because we want to make money. Always remember, today the artificial intelligence is talked about in terms of profit maximization, because we are bringing it so that our production cost goes down. We don't have to depend on a human being anymore. They don't ask for, artificial intelligence don't ask for leave or 8-hour working day or retirement benefits or health benefits or anything. They can work 24 hours without any question, without raising any problem. So let's get rid of the human being. Let's make money. Let's make money. This is the direction that we are going. So what happens ultimately to human being? Human being becomes garbage on this planet. Is this the scenario that we are having? So I'm saying that during the pandemic, at least we see now an occasion where we can sit back and say, no more. We don't want to go in that path. We don't want to go back to the pre-pandemic situation, that the global warming is going in an extreme way, and also wealth concentration, it's going extreme way because of the economic machine that we created is pushing us in that direction. And then artificial intelligence threatening us to get rid of all of us. then what is left of us? So I said, let's not follow the same path that we followed before the pandemic, when the economy was functioning fully. Our decision right now should be no going back. We don't want to go back to the pre-pandemic situation. We want to create a new situation. And our objective should be made very clear. We should say we want to create a world of 3 zeros. Zero net carbon emission, so that there's no global warming. That's the kind of world we can build. If you make up our mind, we can build it. It's no problem. It's a question of making up our mind. It's all the knowledge we have. Simply, we are not using the knowledge because our existing knowledge of profit making has blinded us completely. We don't want to use any other understanding of the reality of the situation. So first thing we want to do is zero net carbon emission or zero global warming. Second zero is zero wealth concentration, to get rid of poverty once for all. We talk about poverty removal, etc., but as long as the present economic system continues, it will continue to generate more poverty, like it has done during the pandemic very clearly. Suddenly, all our expectations of people are moving out of poverty, all fell apart, and people pushed down under the poverty line, deep into the poverty, and so on. So just by one shock, we couldn't have the capacity to bear one little shock and continue to. They were very close to the poverty line, slightly above, but very close. Now they are pushed down, deep down into it. So this is the kind of thing. And then zero unemployment, so that by unleashing the entrepreneurial ability of all human beings. So 3-0 goal becomes an important thing that we want to go in that direction, and we can move in that direction. That's why we are saying that we have to go to the young people to make them aware that they have the power. They have the power in their hand to change the world, to go in a different direction, because after all, it's their world. And if you leave it to the older generation will always take it to the suicidal path that they have created and continue in that, because their mind contaminated by the old thinking. We have to get rid of the old thinking. We have to come to the new thinking process, so that we can build new roads to go to the new destination. If you go by the old roads, we'll always go to the old destination, which is destination of death and disaster and extinction. And we don't want to get extinct on this planet. And I've been promoting an idea, and maybe I can share with all of you and the students and faculty, that we launching an idea to create a 3-0 clubs. It's a club, it's a mini club actually. It's 5 young people get together, form themselves into a club called 3-0 Club on the internet, and then each club gets connected with another club, a networking of 3-0 clubs, and they follow the things what they want to do. So how to protect this world, how to take this world to the destination of 3 zeros, as I explained, the 3 zeros, and trying to understand what this 3 zeros is all about. Can it be achieved? How to be achieved? What is the theoretical changes that we have to make so that we can move in the direction? That's where our education system, they can question in the classroom, why are we learning this? This is a wrong path, so that they can challenge their teachers, so that they can bring up new ideas that this is the way we can get rid of the global warming. These are the ways we can get rid of the wealth concentration. The wealth doesn't have to go in one direction, only to the top. And the bulk of the people at the bottom remain always the same. And the people at the top become super, super rich, and fewer and fewer people controlling 99% of the wealth of the world. So that's not the kind of the world we want to live in. We want to create where wealth and people should live together. Wealth and people should not be separated from each other the way it is right now. So this is the 3-0 Club. I hope young people in your universities or around your universities, high school students or wherever, the young people will be defined by 12 years to 35 years. So that form this little 3-0 clubs and start thinking of their own to create this world of 3 zeros. So this is what I wanted to share with you quickly, and then I will be happy to talk to you and answer your question. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I really enjoyed it. Hello, hello.
Yes, Professor. Can you? Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
good.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing those big ideas, big inspirational ideas. We have a number of students here. Actually, we represent 6 countries of people with passion and energy who are drinking in your every word.
Thank you.
Do you mind, can we take it? We have a couple of questions for you, if I can. Please do, yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you for this inspiring speech. I started to feel quite alienated with the objectives of some of the program, and I'm really happy that I listened to your speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tell me, when you have a big idea that is swimming against the tide a little bit, where you're trying to build a coalition, have you any insights to share with the group about how to bring people with you on a difficult journey like that?
Well, like you just heard the comment made by the girl that she liked it. So whenever I say things, there are people who likes it, and maybe they will think about it. Maybe they will come up with more brilliant ideas how to do that. The one issue that I share with everybody, and I believe in myself, I keep saying, if nothing is impossible for human being, we have to believe in that. Nothing is impossible for human being. If we decide to do something, we can get it done. Simply, our problem is we don't decide. So let's decide. And if we decide, it will happen. It's guaranteed. That you don't have to worry. But first, you must decide to create the 3-0 world. And that's why I'm going to the young people to make sure they have that will to decide to create that world. That world has to be created. It's not automatically done. Somehow we thought if everything is automatic, I just get the degree and get a job in a company, and they said rest of the world will take care of itself. It will not. We are not passengers on this planet, in this spaceship. We have to believe that we are the pilots of this spaceship. We have to have a flight plan where we want to go. We don't seem to have a flight plan for us. We're just sitting there waiting for our drinks with our food and our entertainment and so on. It's not like that. So young people should be ready that we want to have our own flight plan. We want to take this ship to the destination that we want, not somebody else said, oh no, it's happening, it's going anywhere. You don't have to worry. I worry. I want to take it to the right destination. That's the will I wanted to create.
Brilliant. Okay, let me just see if there are plenty of hands up. So, sorry, yeah.
Peter, just to let you know, we have some questions as well. So in another room. So just let me know when you are ready. So.
Okay, well, we'll hand over to you in a moment. But first in here. Yeah, please do. I think you'd be gratified to see some of the younger generation that come.
Good, good. I like to do that.
Yeah. Hello. You talk about a lot about how to help in general in the world, and my question is like a lot of us, especially in the West, we know the problems that we're facing and we are aware of it, but most of us are so alienated with like the culture of profit that we live in, that we do nothing to help those around us and even ourselves, for example, with like the climate change. So what would you like, what would be your solution for this alienation that we're currently facing?
Yeah, the first thing that I'm trying to do, make aware of the problems. Only then you can activate. That's why I say 3 zeros. See, 3 0 is the 3 mega problems of the world. Global warming, everybody knows that global warming, but they are not familiar with the urgency of it. Okay, world will be global warming, some seawater will rise. I'm safe, I'm okay. We don't go deep. That tomorrow, your life may get somehow squeak through, but your children's life will not squeak through. They will be in serious danger on this planet. So what do we do? And what about the grandchildren? They will not have any world to them. This is the scenario that we have. We say, no, this is a kind of panic mongering. Maybe panic mongering, but let's find out whether it is panic mongering or it's real. If it is real, we should be get ready and jumping into it. So that's why we'd say, I'm trying to put in simple words, 3 0, 0 net carbon emission. We understand the carbon emission. And the culprit is the fossil fuel. 86% of the carbon emission is coming from the fossil fuel. So why don't we just get rid of the fossil fuel? Maybe we have to walk a little bit more. Maybe we shouldn't get into any car which use fossil fuel. Maybe you force everybody to use electric car. Even a simple electric car doesn't have to be complicated electric cars. And force the companies to produce electric car. Put a deadline to your government that after this, no car on the street which is on a fossil fuel. It will be a crime to drive a fossil fuel. Those kind of things. And what, as an individual, I can contribute contribute in reducing global warming. I can do that. I avoid fossil fuel. Number one. Then, whatever way I can, contributing in not using fossil fuel. Contributing to the lessening of the global warming and so on. I don't eat beef because cattle is contributing to the fossil fuel. I can do that. I can do it symbolically. I'll do it just for a month. I will not use any fossil fuel driven anything for a month as a demonstration that I can do that, because I want to save this planet for myself and all the people around this planet. And this is what I want to do. I don't want to eat beef for a month. So what? It's not a big sacrifice. But I want to demonstrate this is a culprit. It's in my hand. I'm the one who's contributing to the fossil fuel and to the global warming. So why should I complain to somebody else? So that's why we're talking about the 3-0 clubs. And 3-0 clubs will be doing those kinds of things, little silly things, but it will open up the mind. And then think big things. Start with the simple little things in your 3-0 club. And these little things become the seed of a future huge things as you go around. Because if it clicks with yourself, you don't go back to the older generation. They will mislead you. They have misled themselves. They will mislead you, and that's the danger part. So you teach yourself. This is the way we want to go. We create our own world, and these are the things we should avoid. These are the things we must do. So those are the pluses and minuses that we have to work with. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for translating that into simple steps that we can all take. But I'm going to hand it over to Natalia. Natalia has a couple of questions. We're separated in two rooms
I see. Okay.
naturally.
I see. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Professor Yunus. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
I was thinking about when you were talking about the responsibility of the economic system as a whole and that profit-driven economic society that we're living in. And obviously, as students, we're lucky that we're participating in a course like this, but we're all obviously already interested in some of these topical issues. What advice would you give in terms of the academic systems and third level as a whole, especially in the West? When we look at, like, I'm a business student, so the way in which, like, we're being taught economics and business, that's contributing kind of, I suppose, just producing more of these people that are going to go out to the world that will continue on these systems. Like, how do universities and academics and then students address that? And I suppose the second part of the question would be, as students who are obviously very privileged from the Western world, but also, you know, just basics like accommodation, like we're the first generation that have it worse than our parents and grandparents. How do we compete with that when we know we need to be profitable in the workplace in order to just have the basics of a home? Things that maybe people in other countries, so like, how do we tie those two things in is, I suppose, a short way of asking my question.
Yeah, let me give a little idea what the thinking is about. I'm not saying that you close down your businesses, close down your business schools, profit maximization is banned. I'm not saying that. I said profit maximization is based on the understanding, on the definition of human being, that human being is driven by self-interest. Is a selfish person, and selfishness is demonstrated by the maximization of profit. That's the relationship, that each human being is driven by self-interest. So if we are all self-interest driven, so our self-interest is making money, bring more money to myself, and there's no end to it because we are selfish. That's the definition of human being in economics. I said that's not true. Human beings are driven by self-interest. Partly true, but there's another part of human being. That's my addition. That I said one is self-interest driven, another is collective interest driven. Collective interest is not in economics. It's a self-interest is in economics. So all I'm saying, you have self-interest and you also have collective interest. For self-interest, you create profit maximizing companies. Fine, because you have it. But you have other part to it, which is collective interest driven. Create a business for that too. Global warming is a collective interest. I can create a business for global warming, to reduce global warming. The only purpose of the business is to reduce global warming. Only purpose of my business is to reduce healthcare shortcoming in the world. That healthcare is not going to the people that it should. So I create another kind of business, which is collective interest, healthcare collective interest. So that, what kind of business would that be? One business is profit maximization. Another business is zero profit. See, because it has to go in a different way, because I'm not interested in the selfish thing anymore. So it is me again. I can run a profit maximizing business. I can run a business to solve people's common problem without taking a penny out of it as my personal profit. Because here I'm driven by collective interest. So I have two kinds of business: profit maximizing business, zero personal profit business. And this zero personal profit business, I'm giving a name, call it social business. So one is a profit driven business, another is a social business. In social business, business makes profit, profit stays with the business. It doesn't come to the person who owns it. Not because somebody forces it, it's because he wants to do that. Because that's how, it is almost a replacement of charity. Charity we give away. Here we don't give away, we invest that money. If you can accept charity, why can't you accept the social business? Social business, you recycle that money so that you have more mileage out of the same money, using it again and again and again. So once you can introduce that in economics, economics become different. Then every company can run a social business on the side. They run that very profit maximizing business, they run a social business. So that they address all the issues. Within the profit maximizing businesses, they call SSG and all kinds of things. It's not possible, because you're grafting something which body doesn't absorb, because that machine is geared only for making money. They cannot hear your SSG. They cannot hear all those social messages and so on. That you do it for public relations purpose, but not for the company purpose. Companies, they are warriors. They want to fight their life to make money for the company. If you give a different kind of instruction, they get confused. Why are you saying this? We are in the battle. We want to make money. Now you're saying, no, this is a social, this is a governance. These are issues left to somebody else. So why don't you create a separate business to do that? If you are so much interested in social, HSGC and so on, do that, but through a social business, so that you have a different kind of people trained for that. So this is one part, that social business. Then you said that I need to survive, I need to have money, I have to have a house. You mentioned that. Oh, you have that. Nobody, I'm not objecting to that. I said, here our economics taught us that we have to have the skill and then find a job. I said, that's a wrong teaching. Human beings are not born to work for somebody. Slavery is gone, but we are continuing that slavery in the name of job. Job is a new form of slavery, because I give up everything because you pay me. I take your orders because you pay me. Otherwise, I don't like what you do, but I accept it because you pay me, because I have to pay the rent, I have to pay the bills for the grocery, electricity, and so on. I don't have to. I'm born as an entrepreneur. Is it too much to expect to tell people that you are born as an entrepreneur? So you have two choices. You can be a job seeker, or you can be a job creator as an entrepreneur. So tell young people right from the day you come to school in education system, you tell that you're an entrepreneur. So discuss how, if you want to be an entrepreneur, what you do. You have two choices. You can be a job seeker, or you can be an entrepreneur. Is it too much to ask? If they don't like to be an entrepreneur, forget it. It's a choice. But if he or she wants to be an entrepreneur, teach them how to become an entrepreneur. Then create institutions to support the new entrepreneurs. This present financial system is created for the big businesses, not for the big people. So the big businesses are the one who taking out all the money and giving rich and making rich, super rich, 95, 93%, 99% of the world goes to them because of the banking system. Change the banking system. And that's what we did. We created that microcredit, Grameen Bank. It's a reverse of the conventional banking system. We don't have collateral. We go to remote places in the villages. We go to women who don't have education, nothing, to turn them into entrepreneurs. And they become successful entrepreneurs. That's why you hear about the microcredit and so on. So people are born as entrepreneurs, but our education system destroyed them. Their entrepreneurial ability is taken away. They are turned into slaves. And all our schools, business schools, number one, and all our schools are dedicated to turn all these young people to become slaves in some companies, some businesses, and so on and so forth. Stop that. Or continue that, but create, for example, in business school, you teach profit maximizing businesses. I said, why doesn't the business school also teach social businesses? What's wrong with that? Simply saying that you can solve all the problem, global warming, all the things that we talk about, can be solved in a business way. Is this too much to ask? Have a course. See how many signs up. What do we teach in that? What are the materials available? And that's what the social business things comes. So these are the things I said, then people will decide which way to go. You now have taken away those rights. I cannot be an entrepreneur because I was never told that I was an entrepreneur. Always I was told that our school told me, our parents told me, our book told me that I have to find a job. And in the end, either I become unemployed or unhappy employee. That's all I do. That's my life.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question here. Are you suggesting, though, as educators in business, and there are a few of us here, that we should really focus more on taking the tools of entrepreneurship and triaging them towards community businesses and social businesses?
Absolutely. As an entrepreneur,
Okay,
as an entrepreneur, can I just finish this? As an entrepreneur, you can create a business to make money for yourself. There's no problem. Or, and at the same time, you can create business to do social business. For entrepreneur, you don't have to social business entrepreneur. You are free, you have choice. All I'm saying, give people choices. Today, you have taken away choices. You don't have to talk about it. I said, give people choices. Let them come up with their own solutions so that they can think. They have tools now. They can play around what they want to do. So that's a business school should do, to tell them that you can be an entrepreneur. We are not training you to join a business and become the CEO ultimately, or you got the C-level job and something similar. This is the ambition of the business school. No, you will be having a successful business. We are creating entrepreneurs, not business executives. Today, business schools are creating business executives. I'm saying, no, you create entrepreneurs. They will be successful entrepreneurs and create financial system to support that.
Okay, thank you. I have one question. I don't know how long you've got, but we've one more question for you, certainly.
One more question will be good.
Hi, Professor. It's such an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
I have one question. I saw emerging in your lecture common theme that are common goods, first with the vaccines and then with the environment on the IPCC report. And I was thinking about common goods are subject to the problems that we all know from the Harding works and Ostrom work. So I was asking you if finance, social finance, might have a role in resolving this project, the destruction of common good. And on that, if you are seeing emerging some patterns in finance or in social finance, what is the role of this in the post-pandemic world? And on that, if you find that the global tax agreement that we saw in July, and if you think that is sufficient or we need something more. Thank you.
No, this universal basic income, that's a social tax I think we're talking about. I don't favor that. I don't favor that. I said the human beings are not born to become beggars. Human being is full of creative capacity to take care of himself and herself and take care of others. That's a human being for me. Not he or she be taken care of by somebody else. That's not a human trait. Human trait is to contribute. That's why we are born here for. So we should not be expecting a life or create a system where we are assured that the government will take care of your food and everything. You just relax. The universal basic income. Let the rich people collect all the money they can you don't have to get a penny for that. So government will give you the money. So I'm against universal basic income or whatever income you're talking about. We're not human beings are not somebody to thrive on charity. We are capable human being. We contribute our energy and creativity, change the world the way we like with our own strength and so on. So this is it. And about the other issue that you mentioned, what was it?
I was mentioning about the role of finance in managing
yes, that's
the commons.
Microcredit. This is what we did. Created an alternative banking system. Conventional banking system go to the rich. This new system goes to the poor. Conventional banking system asks for collateral. We said forget about collateral. It's based on trust. Conventional banking system focus on the richest. We focus on the poorest. Conventional banking system asks people to come to their bank to do the business. We say no, people should not go to the bank. Bank should go to the people. So we serve the people at their doorstep. So it's almost the reverse kind of thing that we did. And it works. Works not only in Bangladesh, everywhere. Even in France, they have microcredit programs and so on. In the USA, they have microcredit program in a massive way and works very well. It's called Grameen America and so on. So the financial system is the culprit of everything that we're talking about. We have to redesign that financial system. They have been always telling the poor people are not creditworthy. I challenged them. I said, should you blame the people for not being creditworthy? Or the people should be blaming you for not being people-worthy? You have not designed the system to serve them. You designed the system to serve big guys, not common people. So why don't you change yourself and make it happen? So the students, when they're in school, they know when they want to become entrepreneur, there's a bank available who will be financing his enterprise. Even he doesn't have anything, but there's a system that will come and support us because that's what the microcredit does. We know they don't have anything, but it still will give them the money. And not a few dollars of money, individually a few dollars, but collectively billions of dollars we give out. And money comes back. This is no problem. So they were threatening, oh, it will not work. We have been working for the last 45 years that we have been running. And globally, it's not just locally and so on. So we need that financial system to develop and create it. And that's the challenge. All we want to do, everything goes with the flow. I just wrote in the thing that I have. I'm in this spaceship planet. I'm the passenger. So you have to treat me and I'll go. That's right. I have to be the one with to roll up the sled and make sure our planet goes in the right direction. And we are the pilots of this spaceship.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure if we've exhausted your time, but you came to us with a venerable reputation, and I don't think it did you justice. You've really, you could hear a pin drop in this room and in the other rooms, and we really want to thank you. I think the group here are going to be working on projects, and they will definitely be informed by the 3 zeros. But I suppose maybe I should hand over.
I should just mention that invite them to Google 30 Club, find out what this is all about, whether they're interested. If they're interested, they'll be wonderful to create those clubs and start talking to each other, network with each other, and see, challenge me that what it says is bullshit. Let's do it another way. Let them do that. But they have to think, they have to act. That's the problem. That's the issue that 30 Club raises. You cannot just be there and relax and get a job and then retire as a chief executive.
No, I know. I loved your idea that we can't be passengers on a kamikaze mission, that we've got to take the flight plan and do something. So I might hand over to Anastasia, to whom we're indebted for inviting you to join us. Anastasia, do you want to close off?
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much, Professor Yunus.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Yes, good to hear again. Thank you for your availability and for always being here to interact with our students. It's a pleasure to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.